So I had my gastric bypass on the NHS 1 week ago, and I can't believe how quick this week has gone. Honestly, it feels like I only had it done a couple of days ago, but it's been a week. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how that day was, how it's been since then, like how I've been settling, and then also how much weight I've lost, because I'm going to be weighing myself every Wednesday and writing it down. So I'll talk about that as well. Don't mind the background, by the way. I'm in my son's bedroom because it's the only room with decent lighting. So I had it last Wednesday, and it was a long day because I had to go in to hospital. My admission time was 7 a.m. and you all have to go in at the same time. So even if you're not called for surgery until the afternoon, you still have to be there at 7. So that was horrible because I've got anxiety, and so waiting around for hour after hour after hour was horrendous, because it turned out that I was like last to be called. So I was waiting around pretty much all day, and that was really hard. But I eventually went into theatre at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the actual surgery took 2 hours 37 minutes, I believe. And then I was in recovery for quite a while after that, and I think I went up to a ward at 7:30 at night. So it was a long day, but it was okay. I was very nervous beforehand, but I don't even sort of remember actually going to sleep. It was my first time actually having a general anaesthetic. I'd had big anaesthetics before when I had my cesareans, but I'd never been completely put to sleep. So that was an experience, and I was very, very nervous going into theatre. But the staff was so lovely and they made me feel so comfortable. So it was an absolute dream. And yeah, everyone was lovely in the hospital. I recovered really well, and they usually say you'll be in hospital for around 2 days once you've had a bypass. But I was able to go home the next day, so that was amazing, because I was expecting to be in there a couple of days, especially because I didn't have my surgery until quite late. So I was expecting to be in there 2 days, but I was home the following afternoon. So that was brilliant, because I really do not like being in hospitals, and I recover much better at home. So I'm so glad about that. But everything surgery wise went absolutely amazing, really smoothly. I spoke to my surgeons afterwards, and they said that they didn't really have any issues with it. The only thing was that my liver was still quite big, which I was really surprised about, because I was on the LRD for 4 weeks, and that 4 weeks was hell on earth, as you'll see in my previous videos. So I was really surprised to hear that it was still enlarged even after those 4 weeks. I couldn't believe it. But I suppose they don't really know how big your liver is to start with. I knew that I had a fatty liver because when I'd had previous blood tests, it sort of flagged up a couple of my levels, and they said that could be due to the start of fatty liver. So I knew I probably had a bigger liver to start with, and that's probably why they put me on the longer LRD. But it was still a little bit enlarged, but they said it was nothing to the point where they couldn't do it safely. So I was still able to have the bypass, which is amazing. Recovery wise, it's been all right, to be honest. You hear horror stories about bypass recovery, and I'm part of the the bypass support group on Facebook. I'm part of that, and you hear like the horror stories of people that have just had like horrific recoveries, really bad gas pains to the point where they can't move, and it's been really painful, or they've had loads of complications. And I was really worrying that I was going to have a bad recovery. And I think the reason for that is because I've had 2 cesarean sections, and both of them were really bad recovery wise. I just don't heal very well at all. I'm not a good healer, so I was really worried about that. But to my surprise, it's actually been going like textbook, really, really smoothly from the get-go, really. I didn't really have much pain in the sense of like gas pain, even to start with. I did experience gas pain, and I sort of knew what to expect because I had gas pain when I had my cesareans. So I know how painful it can be, but it wasn't too bad. Like, it was uncomfortable, and there was a couple of times where I was like on the edge of my seat, like, oh god, like in so much pain. But for the most part, it was just uncomfortable, and if I managed to stay on top of my pain consistently, it was fine. Because I was really on it with my pain. Like, I had alarms set all through the day and all through the night that were going off every 2 hours, because I'd be switching between codeine and paracetamol, which I ended up having to switch from the paracetamol tablets to Calpol because I couldn't tolerate the tablets. But I'll talk about that another time. But so yeah, in the sense of like pain, it's not been too bad. It's been uncomfortable and I've been sore, but it's more of an aching feeling, and I think that's because of all like the bruising internally. Like when I first had surgery, it was uncomfortable. Like, it felt like I'd been kicked in the chest and like kicked in the stomach, and I was sort of holding on to that pain. And that's why in my previous video you saw that I had the oxygen sort of tube under my nose, and that's because my oxygen level kept dropping. And I think that's because at first I was in quite a bit of pain, and it took a while to sort of get that under control to the point where I was comfortable, but my oxygen level kept dropping, and they think it's because I was in pain. And eventually, I think it was the day I came home, a few hours before I came home, they managed to take me off it, and it's because the surgeon came around and says you can take her off it, it's fine. So yeah, I was on oxygen for a bit because of the pain, but other than that, like, it's been okay. I've been able to cope with the pain using what they gave me, and I haven't been at the point where I couldn't move. Sometimes I get sharp pains and it like sort of takes my breath away, but you find sort of ways of coping. I've got off pain now talking about it, but you find ways of coping with it, like either adjusting the way you're sitting or getting up and moving about. That's the best thing to get rid of gas pain. Or getting a heat pack and placing it on the area that's hurting. All these types of things I've been doing to help, and it's been amazing. And I've been up and moving about. I try and do as much for myself as I can, but the only thing I've found is that because of the constant painkillers, my brain's kind of been a bit foggy, and so I haven't really found it very easy to track my medication. So someone else has been doing that for me, has been organising my medications, like this is what you need to take at this time, and and sorting all that out, so I don't need to stress about that, and I've just been focusing on myself and recovering. Other than that, I need help like making food and stuff like that because I can't stand for very long. But since day one, I've been getting myself changed, taking myself to the toilet, doing things for myself. It's just other things that I need a bit of help with. And everybody's pain level is completely different. Some people, they need a lot of help in that first week. I've heard of people that have needed like round the clock care for that first week, because they could barely move with the gas pains. And then other people that have been absolutely fine and doing everything they usually do, but just a bit more careful. So I think I've done pretty well, to be honest, and I'm right where I should be in the terms of like healing. I spoke to my bariatric nurse today, and she was asking me like how I've been getting on, asking me a bunch of questions. I brought up some concerns with her that I had about certain pains I was having. But other than that, like she said, everything's going perfectly. They have no concerns whatsoever, which is amazing. So everything's been going really smoothly. I'm still sleeping on my back, and that is driving me crazy because I am not a back sleeper. I'm a side sleeper through and through, and sleeping on your back when you're not a back sleeper is so irritating. Because I've been sleeping on my back for a week now, and lying on your back all night and not being able to turn over, or whatever, it's so annoying. But it's too painful for me to sleep on my side at the minute. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's painful. It's very uncomfortable to the point where I wouldn't be able to sleep like that anyway. So it feels sort of like your ab muscles are being pulled a lot, and it's not nice. So I haven't been able to sleep on my side, which is driving me crazy, but in time I'll keep trying and hopefully I'll get there. But yeah, that's been quite annoying. Getting used to the sipping of water and stuff, because what I found, which is one of the things that I brought up to my bariatric nurse because I was concerned about it, is I keep getting a lot of pain in my chest, and it's sort of like a really bad indigestion pain, when you've eaten something and it's gone down the wrong hole and you feel it's stuck here and you're like, oh, and it's like painful. I've been getting that quite a lot, and it's even, you would think it was just because I'm gulping water or whatever, but it's not. Even if I'm having just sips of water, I can feel it in my chest, and it's really uncomfortable, and it's happening all the time, and I wasn't sure what it was. I was really concerned about it. I ended up expressing it on the bariatric support group on Facebook, and they said it could be from just like swelling and stuff, because it's a major surgery you've had and your body's trying desperately to adjust to it, but it's going to take time. So when I spoke to the nurse today, I brought it up with her, and she said it honestly sounds completely normal, to be honest. A lot of people experience it, and it's a lot of different reasons. It's swelling, and it's also your body trying to adjust to stuff, and all these sorts of pains and aches and stuff are completely normal at first, but it is worrying when it's happening all the time, and it was stopping me from having paracetamol, which is why I had to switch to Calpol. But everything else has been going really, really well. So I wanted to talk about weight loss. So like I said, I'm going to be weighing myself every Wednesday, because my surgery was on a Wednesday. And I've got this little book. I think I got it from Tesco or Asda, one or the other. But I got this little book. It's just like a notebook, but it's super cute. It says Dreams. And I thought I would make it sort of like my weight loss journal, if you like. And I've put a bunch of random stuff in here, and I thought it's actually a really good idea. And if anyone's about to go through it, maybe you'd want to do something like this too, to look back on, because I've got the videos to look back on, but it's also nice to have something that you've written yourself as well. So this is where I'm gonna put all of my sort of weight loss stuff in. So on the first page I put like my starting weights, like my starting weight when I approached my GP, my weights before I had surgery, and then my weights post-op, like a week post-op, and then I'm also going to do it for a month post-op as well, and on the back probably like a 6 months post-op and a year post-op. And then on the page after that I've got measurements. So what I did before surgery is I measured my body with, like one of those tape measures, and I basically measured my arms, my legs, my chest, my waist, my hips, so that in a year's time I can remeasure again and see where I'm at. And I also put my clothes size down as well, so that in a year I can be like, oh my god, I was that size, you know. So I think that's a good idea. And then I also did this. I never even thought about doing this, but I watched a YouTube video of a girl that called, I think her name's Trina, I believe. But she documented her bariatric journey, and she started doing this bucket list. And I thought it was an amazing idea. You write down things that as a big person you can't do but really want to do, and it's sort of like a list for when you lose weight. So things that you want to do now but are too big to do, you can't fit in it, or you wouldn't be able to cope with, or whatever, you put it on your bucket list of, it's like a goal to achieve once you've lost weight. And I thought that was a really good idea. So I made my own, and they sound a bit silly, but it's things that you don't think is a big deal, but when you're a big person, the world's not built for you. And there is things that you miss out on doing because of your size, and there's no way around that. It's just the way it is. So I thought I would make my own bucket list to look back on and be like, oh, I can do that now, and all of this. So I've called it my big girl bucket list. And so I've wrote down a bunch of things that I can't do now but I would like to do, and when I'm eventually able to do it, I'm gonna tick it off, and I'm also gonna write the date that I was able to achieve it. So mine are things like going on a flight without needing a seatbelt extender. Now, I haven't been able to go on a plane without a seatbelt extender since I was like an early teen. Definitely not since the age of like 18. I've always needed, throughout my sort of teens and adult life, I've needed a seatbelt extender on a plane. And I can't explain that feeling of needing to ask for a seatbelt extender because you don't fit, and having to ask somebody to bring that to you, and it's just horrible. But I always need one, and so I put it on the top of my list. I can't wait to be able to fit into a plane seat comfortably and be able to do up the seatbelt. So that's on there. This one's kind of embarrassing, but I know a lot of people relate to it. Driving my car without my belly touching the steering wheel. I know, it's embarrassing, but I mean, what do you think this video is about? So go around a soft play and not get stuck. It's pretty self-explanatory. I've got 2 young kids, and when we go to soft play, I have to make sure we go with somebody else that's smaller than me that can help if they need some help getting around, or they get stuck or scared, because I can't fit in it. And that's just the truth. So I want to be able to take them to a soft play on my own and know that I can go around if I need to. So sitting cross-legged comfortably, you know, where like the women put the one leg over the other and they're sat so comfortably. I can't do that, so that would be nice. Be able to go on any ride at a theme park. So I love theme parks, I love rides, and as a big person you are so limited on what you can go on because you just don't fit in the restraints, and unfortunately it's just the way of it. I mean, you can try and squeeze yourself in, but you're not going to be able to breathe, or a lot of the times you'll avoid rides because you don't want the embarrassment of being turned away because you don't fit in. And I've experienced both of those things, and it's not nice. So I'd love to be able to go to a theme park and be able to fit on the rides. I think the last time I went to a theme park, we went to Alton Towers, and all the rides that I would love to go on, I had to stand and watch other people go on them out of our group instead because I couldn't fit on the restraints. So yeah, that's a big one for me. Be able to buy clothes off the rack is another major. I would love to go into a shop, like a supermarket or even Primark or just any shop that sells clothes, and see like a t-shirt or something, like, oh, I really like that, and then be able to find my size and buy it there and then. I would love to be able to do that, and I can't remember the last time I was able to do that, because when you're a big person, they just don't carry your sizes, and I always have to order my clothes offline on a website that's made for big people. And I would love to be able to just go into a shop and just see something I like and be able to buy it. Like, that would be amazing. It's something as simple as that you don't even think about unless like you go through it. Another one I've got is be able to slide into a booth at a restaurant without getting stuck. Now, one of my favourite places to go for lunch is Wetherspoons. I love spoons. And I like sitting in the booths. We like taking my sons there. And I always get stuck trying to get into the booths. Like, when we go there, the other person has to like lift up the table so I can get myself in and sit down, and then they pull it like down, and it's sort of like on top of my belly almost. Like, it's so bad. So I'd love to be able to like get into a seating area without being stuck or like crammed in there. And then the last one on my list is go on a walk without being in pain or breathless. At the minute I can't really do much physical exercise at all. Now, I'll do the school run and I'll walk my son down to the car, but by the time I get back to the car after dropping him off and walking back, I'm like panting like crazy, and just walking up the stairs I'm breathless. And if I want to walk anywhere, sorry about that, if I want to walk anywhere, I've got to be conscious of, oh, how close is the parking? How close is where we need to go? Are they gonna, if I'm with other people, are they gonna want to go anywhere else? And I have to sort of take into consideration like distances and stuff, because I can't walk very far. And it's embarrassing to talk about, but I'm gonna talk about it because it's reality when you're a big person. So if I walk, my hips start to hurt, my back is always killing me, like I'm in so much pain and I'm so breathless and just tired and just fed up and just want to sit down. And then afterwards I struggle really bad. I'm really, really achy and stiff and want to lie down. Like, it's really bad. So I'd love to be able to go on a walk with the kids or take them to the park or something without feeling like I'm going to pass out and being in loads of pain afterwards. Like, so yeah, that's all I've got on there so far, but I've got some more room in case I want to write more things down. I've got like a little tiny notepad next to my chair, and so if one pops into my head, I quickly scribble it down and then I can write it in my book. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I thought that was a really good idea. If you're about to go through it, or even if you already have and there's still things that you want to do that you can't do, put it on your little bucket list. So then after that, I've just been doing like sort of like a diary entry. So it's week 1 post-op. I've put how much I've lost this week, which I'll talk about now, and then sort of like a little diary entry about how this week has gone, sort of what happened this week and how I've been feeling about it. And I'm going to do that every week. And then I can look back at it in the future. Obviously, I'm not going to read that. But I wanted to talk about weight loss. So, before surgery, I was 133.5 kilograms. That was right before I had surgery. and in pounds that's 294.3 pounds, and in stone it's 21 stone. And now I am 129.9 kilograms, or 286.3 pounds, or 20.4 stone. So basically this week I've lost 3.6 kilograms, or 7.9 pounds. So that's a lot for week one, and I'm really pleased because I didn't know if I would have been losing that much, because when you're recovering you're not really moving around other than doing your little shuffle to get yourself moving. But other than that, you sort of sat doing nothing because you're in pain, you can't really do anything. So I wasn't expecting to lose that much, but I was surprised when I stepped on the scales. And it was so funny because I have a set of scales where they're Bluetooth, and they connect to an app on my phone. So I step on the scales with my phone and it connects to my phone. And you know, when you're a big person, you step on some scales, you can't see what the number is. You sort of have to like press your belly in and your chest in and sort of like bend over to look, but that alters the scales, like the weight on the scales. So usually I'd have to like stand and like take a picture or get someone else to read it for me. But I got these scales that connect to my phone, so now I just step on it and it sends it straight to this app so I can look at it, and it also tracks your weight as well, like how much you're losing. And I stepped on it to do this week's weigh-in, and I had a little thing pop up on it basically asking if it was me, to say that something had changed and is it still me. And I basically had to confirm that it was still me, and I thought that was so funny, like it doesn't even recognize me, I'm losing weight. So but yeah, that's pretty much everything for the first week. It's been a journey, but I'm excited of what's to come, and I thought I would do sort of weekly videos. So once I do my weigh-in on a Wednesday, then I'll film a video to talk about how much I've lost, and I'll do them sort of weekly. And there's a bunch of other videos that I want to do that's sort of on my little to-do list of videos that I want to do. There's so much I want to talk about. It's just finding the chance to sort of make a video about it, because at the minute one of my sons is off school for like half-term holiday, so it's finding time, and also I'm trying to recover, so it's sort of like the last thing on my mind is sort of making videos and stuff. But I really do want to stay on top of this like documentation of my journey and stuff, and I really want to help other people, and I feel like getting information out there for people to see is the best way that I can help. So I do plan on doing it every week, and I've got a bunch of videos planned that I want to do. So yeah, just stick around. That's it for now, but I'm doing really well, and I will see you next time.